Hey, welcome back to TC's Poolology channel. I'm T.C. Natale, and I'm going to be bringing you tips and tricks from the game of pool or billiards, from beginner to pro level tips. If you're new to the channel, pocket that like, bank that subscribe button. So we're here with Darius Hall today. He's going to be my co-host for this show. We're basically just going to be talking about the videos that we make and commentary and all that stuff.
Guys, I'm Darius Hall. Happy to be here, chilling out with my buddy TC. Let's get into some action here and talk about what we've been through, our pool game and all that. Well, mainly just, how we came to love pool, our first experiences, and we'll just piggyback with follow-up questions behind that, whatever comes to mind. Feel free to ask further questions in the comments below. We'll get with you guys on that. So,
leave us your comments if you want to see more videos on how we play, any specific topics you want us to talk about.
I'll leave it to TC for the first questions.
When did you get started in pool?
Probably when I was a kid, one of those little Fisher Price tables.
Okay.
The one where you pull the little thing back that has the coil on it and it pops. And
how old are you now?
I know I look 21, but I'm 33.
Okay, so this was...
But really, I would say when I was about 19 years old was when I kind of got my first experience with a pool table, at least 7.5 foot barroom table.
Okay.
And I had a buddy of mine from the college that I was going to teach me how to shoot pool, and I fell in love with it. it got to the point where we were playing 2 hours every single day, 365 days in the year.
Wow, that's a lot of pool.
Yeah. But it was addicting, but you know, eventually life happened, and now it's just something that I really love to do. You know, I make sure that I have a balance with my other aspects of my life. So
yeah.
So probably when I was about 19.
19. And that's when you got kind of competitive on it?
Well, that's when I learned all about gambling.
Okay.
19 years
Who
old.
taught you that?
My buddy, because he would gamble with me and take all my money.
Okay.
And then I played harder, I got better, and then eventually I started to take all his money, and eventually I actually got better than him, where I consistently beat him. And when he would get paid, and he would be hyped to come shoot pool, to gamble, and then I would, you know, just beat him up real good, take his money, then he didn't want to gamble anymore. So
makes sense.
that's how that went. And from what I remember, an Italian professional player, which I never heard of, had taught him how to shoot pool. I mean, he was really, really, really good at pool.
Sounds like me.
It's kind of hard for me to remember how good he was because my game has changed so much since then, and then it's just been so long ago. But just from my remembrance, like, he had a really strong break, and he would break and run very often. And eventually, I got to the point where I could do that. But as far as like my knowledge of the game now, it's completely different than what it was before. Like, I knew how to do a lot of stuff before, but now I have the knowledge that goes behind why I do what I do, when I need to do what I do, and you know.
So like when to play safe and when to
Right.
Play offense,
Right.
How to get there.
Yeah, because we never really played 9-ball. The only thing we played was 8-ball.
Yeah. And so you got to know when to run out and when they're not, going to be able to run out.
Yep. That's it. So what about you?
I got started probably about 5 years ago. My mom and my stepdad got together. He played pool, kind of got me into it. We played when he opened up the bar down the street. We played all the time. Then he got me into league, so I started playing league. I wasn't very good, could barely hold a stick straight, couldn't make anything. But I got a lot of mentors. My stepdad, he's been to Vegas 12 times. Just people that I've met playing pool, just through league and stuff like that. They taught me consistently what I was doing wrong. Started from the stance all the way up to breaking to making balls with English, and draw stroke, just every little detail.
So what would you say is the hardest thing about competitive pool for you? So like when you're playing somebody who you might consider has a higher skill level than you, or somebody that you've never seen before that's kind of comes off in a way that they may be good, but you've never seen that game before. You know, what about that affects you mentally as far as how you approach the game? I mean, are you one of those shooters that, you know, even though you might not be Shane Van Boning, do you have that kind of mentality like, man, I don't care who this dude is, I'm going to go and give it my best and beat them? Or do you kind of play people to their game, or kind of wait and see, like, man, this dude is good, I don't know?
Well,
and then
first,
which can affect your game as well.
Yeah. At first, I would, the better that they are, it would make me play better. And then the worse that they were, it would make me play worse. So I had to kind of get over that hump. Now, when people think that they're really good, I play phenomenal. I don't miss unless I want to. You know, I make all my safes, all my defenses. But if somebody's really bad, I used to kind of play down to their level, and I realized that you can't do that. I mean, to get better, to play on these high levels, you have to play every game as if it's a professional match. And so when I learned that, my game excelled. I don't have as many misses. I don't have as many mistakes because I'm always focused on the specific games and just playing the table, really, not the player.
So. Me personally, I think that's one of my weaknesses when I play people. If they don't have as much skill as me on the table, I don't play them as hard. I mean,
we all lose a little bit of focus, but
yeah, it's just a mental factor for me. I do keep in the back of my mind that I need to play the table and not the player, and that will help me out tremendously.
But then when you start playing girls and people that just come up randomly, like at the clubs and stuff like that, when we go out,
well, that's a little
changes.
bit different.
It changes things.
Yeah. Sometimes it's different, you know. I might downplay just to get a number or something like that, you know.
We all do that.
You know, you don't want to just run the table and then they run off. So, but you know, even in league or you know, just sometimes just playing people, you know, sometimes I downplay. But you know what? You never know who's watching. Like, you know, somebody might be watching and might want to play you, you know.
Yep.
Or they might tell, you know, other people like, he's not that good. I saw him, you know, and they might get the wrong perception. I mean, it really doesn't matter. I mean,
well, when you're trying to gamble, sometimes
unless y'all gonna be trying to gamble or something.
If you're trying to gamble, you kind of want that. You kind of want to miss a few shots here and there, and make it seem like you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
Make a little bit extra money on the side, so your night's not so expensive.
Yeah. Next time I shoot, I'm gonna try to keep this in mind to play the table. And because what I notice about most of the pros, it doesn't matter the venue. I mean,
no distractions.
I don't know. Maybe they downplay, but their downplay still looks
amazing.
Right. Because matter of fact, I watch a lot of Efren Reyes because that's my favorite player. I think he's the greatest pool shooter, billiards player of all time. Hands down.
I'm on agreement with that.
I think Earl Strickland is close, very close, and then
not far behind.
Then you can, you know, then there's a lot of others that's debatable. Buddy Hall, William Moscone, the list goes on and on and on. But when I watch Efren, when he's not in matches and he's just playing people, I mean, it's like he shoots looser, so it looks even better.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, when he's playing like amateurs and stuff like that, that's when he kind of, you know, lets his stroke out even the more. And, you know, side note, you know, he's one of the ones, as well as Earl Strickland, that shoots a little bit looser in professional matches, which has drawn a lot of people to liking his playing style because he takes more risks. Yeah. And that's one thing that I've done as far as practicing with TC to get better is taking risks, you know, whether I win or lose, just to, you know, kind of get a feel for exactly what the ball is going to do or my potential in certain situations when, you know, it's not a benefit for me to play safe, you know, or, you know, because sometimes you get put in tough situations where it's like, man, you know, you either win or go home. You know, you can't always play safe.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly. Sometimes it's do or die. Like, that's what we say all the time, do or die shots.
Like recently I played, we played a pool buddy of ours and 7 balls on the head string and cue balls on the other side. 8 ball was kind of near the cue ball. and there was no safe. It was only 2 balls on the table.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't get good shape to end up on that 7 ball. So I was like, man, forget it. And then I just banked it the distance of the table and made it, and then made my 8.
Sometimes it
made that money.
You gotta win the game.
Right.
However, you gotta win it. You got to win the game.
Right.
Sometimes I feel like that. It's sometimes it's just a game, but when there's money on the line, you gotta do what you gotta do to win it.
So I got a couple of questions. So for people out there just getting started playing pool, you know, I noticed a lot of people have difficulty on, you know, holding the stick or not being good enough.
And we'll do some tutorial videos on that. Like I said, this channel is going to go from just pro level or beginner level all the way up to pro level stuff. Just anything in between. Distractions on gambling. Just any topics that y'all want to see. Just let us know in the comments, and we'll try to get to a video soon and get it posted.
Yep. We'll have amateurs, beginners, we'll have pros interview, get all their perspectives.
Yep.
I know a common question that's asked is, how do you become a pro? And even to this day, I haven't had anyone answer that.
We'll get to that. For sure,
So,
we will.
That's something we definitely want to.
We'll get into how the steps and the levels to get to that level, and then there's also steps and levels to getting into the Moscone Cup. We'll talk about that, and just whatever we can really discuss to get y'all as much information as possible.
Yeah. And one more thing, me and him recently we did some shooting. You know, we were just practicing. And we're going to give you guys kind of like a play-by-play narration of
just how the game is played, what heel means, just simple stuff that...
Pool lingo.
Yeah, pool lingo that you may not know or have heard of.
But pool is for anybody. Anybody can play pool.
Young, old, don't matter. I have a 95-year-old woman on my team at the moment, and she will run a rack on you in a heartbeat. And not even think twice about it.
Yep.
So how do you like league? Do you think league is for most amateur pool players?
I think league is good for
from beginners to mid-level players.
Yes, I do.
I agree. That's where I started, and that's how I became as good as I have.
Yes.
You get to know people, really, and they help you out.
Yeah.
You get timeouts, you get all these other things that benefit your game. And practice. I mean, practice. Right. There is no way getting around it. You have to be practicing as much as you can if you want to be as good as you can.
Yeah. And another thing about league, like, let's say you've never been in league and you're just a street player and you want to see where you're at, you know, join a team, you know.
Yeah.
Then you can
and they'll put you at a skill level.
Yeah.
I mean, they will match your skill level with other players around you.
Right. And I'm starting to learn, you know, from the really, really, really good players that it is easy.
Once you get the timing down and you get shape, pool is super easy. Like, it's not as hard as you think. But it's getting there. If you get off shape by even 2 balls length or a ball length, it can cause serious problems with your game.
Yeah, pool is definitely a game of centimeters, millimeters.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you hit the cue ball, you know, millimeter in the either direction other than the center, then you're going to apply what's called English to the ball. So it's going to contort the angle of the ball, the spin of the ball,
the speed of the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, if you
don't have to know physics and geometry to play pool, but you do have to learn what the ball is going to do once you hit it.
I mean, what's called running English can make the ball go faster, or stun can make it kind of slow down a little bit. I use stun a lot, but I also use running English probably just as much to get around the table to where I need to be. And speed is just such an important factor. You got to know how hard to hit the ball, because if you hit it too hard, it could come off the table. Too soft, could not even touch a rail. I mean, speed is so important.
It's all about that cue control.
Yep, cue control and learning what the next ball that you're going to hit is going to do is going to change your game a lot.
Yep.
Because if you hit a ball with inside English towards the pocket, it makes the other ball go the opposite direction. So it changes the way that the next ball plays, and then if that hits a rail, it also changes it. So it just takes a lot of practice and time to get that stuff down.
And that's more the advanced stages. You know, when you're a beginner and even like amateur, I mean, the main thing you want to get down is a proper and consistent stance.
Yes.
The way you grip the stick. And then as far as hitting the balls, you want to get good at hitting the ball right in the center of the ball.
Just set up straight shots, shoot straight shots until you got a straight shot down. Do cut shots until you got a cut shot down. Make sure your bridge is correctly. If you use a closed bridge or an open bridge, depending on which shot is, you can use either one. But I use both because the more knowledge you have, the better you're playing. So if you know what a closed bridge does, it helps your draw stroke a little bit. Open bridge, if you're on the rail, just different stuff like that.
And that's something recently that I learned how to do. I mean, when me and TC met, I couldn't shoot with the closed bridge. Now I can shoot with a closed bridge just as well as an open bridge, and that's something I'm very, very happy of, because when I used to try to shoot with a closed bridge, it felt funny. I couldn't grip the stick right and all that, and it kind of happened overnight. As far as, you know, if you ever just noticed me playing.
I actually did notice that.
But I mean, it happened overnight as far as him noticing. But it's something that outside of me and him playing, because we're not always practicing together.
But seriously,
I always practice. I always practice using the closed bridge, so that way I can add to my arsenal. So,
but get you a buddy, you know, that plays as well as you and that can teach you some stuff. You can teach them some stuff. It really helps your game a lot. Helping them see the closed bridge difference. He's taught me a lot of things about banks and stuff that we both just learn a lot of different things from different people, and so we share that with each other to improve our games.
Yeah. And one thing that I've done that's helped me out a lot, and it's not like you guys have to do this, but I watch a lot of pool online.
He does. He sends me videos every day.
Yeah, I really don't too much watch the newer players because they play, in my opinion, more safe versus the old school players. And I think, in my opinion, it limits your game. So sometimes I'll hear the older players talk about the players that have lived long enough to see the older players versus the new players, and they talk about how the older players would run over these newer players.
And how jump shots weren't a thing.
Right, yeah.
I hear that so much.
Yeah, Earl Strickland, he started that. I mean, and it's funny because he hates the jump stick. I mean, when he started it, you could only use your regular pool cue, and he was the best at it. And eventually, they started using the little jump cues, and then they took it out. The pool board.
APA don't use it. You can't have a jump cue in APA, which is I don't like, but because I feel like anything that you learn adds to your game. So jump shots, masse shots, kick shots, anything that you can use. Some places don't allow you to masse. Most leagues do, but just like some local bars, they don't want you to masse on their tables.
And that's just because if you don't know how to masse well, you could tear up the... because I've done that before.
Like, we all had to learn somewhere, though, so... Right. Well, that's why you go to just your worst tables you can find, practice and practice.
Practice how to masse.
And jump.
Yep. Me, personally, I don't care for jumping. I think they need to take it out, but that's not going to happen because, Yeah,
It's a
the
skill.
younger players today, they all like it and they all jump. So it is advantageous to know how to jump, unless you're Efren Reyes and
Don't need it.
or you're from the Philippines and just know how to kick really, really well. I think kicking is definitely more skillful.
It's definitely a lot harder.
And it, I think jumping is does a disservice to someone who has a really good safe game. But it is what it is. It's a part of the game.
You can get some safes where you cannot jump out of it.
Well,
I have done
right.
it. I've done it multiple times. That's how you get your safe game even better. When you freeze
play against somebody who's just the best jumper.
How do you focus? How do you what do you do to stop distractions?
Well, for me, a lot of
I think
times,
we're all still learning.
I put my headphones in. You can't do that during tournament play. I mean, Shane Van Boning, he was born like 90% deaf, and some of the players would complain that, oh well, he's not as distracted because he can't hear, and so that just goes to show that distractions really do affect your game, or you allowing distractions. So pool, I would say it's maybe
80% mental.
Yeah, I say like 20-30% skill. You get your skill to a certain peak, and then the rest is mental. I mean, if you watch matches like with Efren and all them, like no matter who he's playing, he has a really good temperament, and he's humble and he's quiet, and he performs so well under pressure.
Yeah,
I mean, that's how he won all these big tournament and money prize events and all that kind of stuff. But
I can't really say pressure is a distraction because it's just something that comes to everybody.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's necessarily a distraction, but it's something you got to learn.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's not a distraction. Now me, I get distracted by somebody moving in the background. But it just depends on the venue. If I'm shooting for $100 a game, then
Monopoly.
I am in the zone. I don't care what's going on.
Yeah.
If I'm shooting for $20 a game and somebody just walk up to the table talking to somebody and all that, I'm gonna get distracted. It kind of just depends on the environment. If it's a bunch of females around, pretty girls and all that kind of stuff, I'm in the zone.
It changes my game a lot.
I'm in the zone.
I'm not in the zone, Mike. That's probably one of my worst distractions. Anybody else, I'm okay with.
If I play against somebody who's slow playing me, I mean,
slow play is a big deal.
I get distracted, and that's just something that I gotta learn how to overcome. I thought I overcame it, but I didn't.
No, it takes a lot of mental practice.
Yeah, because I do get distracted by
slow play for sure,
because it's frustrating to me.
That's frustrating for most people. we don't like slow play.
So usually what I do is put my headphones in, and then I just vibe to whatever I'm listening to, and then get in the zone. But
we just want you to get to the table, take your shot, and make it or miss. We don't care if we get beat. We want to get beat so we can get better.
Yeah. So you can get beat mentally in pool and have great skills, but lose to someone who's not as good as you, but they have
it's just really
they figured you out.
Yeah, it's just really how you
gets
play.
Under your skin.
Yep. So whatever gets under your skin, they're gonna try to do it. They're gonna try to get in your head. They're gonna try to beat you as many times as possible with whatever they can, and then that will change your game towards playing them. But you really shouldn't. You should be playing the table at all times.
And that's something that me and him are gonna do tonight. We'll be playing the table.
Yep. We got to get practice. We're still not perfect on the mental aspect of it. We're not perfect on anything yet, but we're getting there. We're practicing every day. So
I'm getting text messages from other local pool players that's going to be going to the spot where we normally shoot at on the weekends, where we can have a good time and all that.
But we still get good practice.
Yeah, we do. Because me and him will play.
Hours.
Yeah, we'll play
Hours
all
and
night,
hours.
all night long.
And that's what you got to do to get better. You got to want it. You got to have a little bit of drive towards learning the game and knowing what you want to achieve as far as pool. If you don't want to be professional, then just get to a level that you feel comfortable at. If you just want to be a barroom player, then it's for everybody. Pool is for everybody.
And you know what? It's a certain love for the game. I mean, I don't know any pool player that shoots as much as me and TC that doesn't love shooting pool.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't love shooting pool, then you'll shoot, and then you might run into roadblocks where you're not getting better, then you just quit.
Yeah,
like for us,
sometimes I've gotten burnout on it, but the more I learn the game, the more I want to play the game. So I feel like try to learn as much as you can, and it'll make you want to play more. And then once you get better, it'll also make you want to play more. So just keep pushing through it. Don't get burnt out on it. It's it's fun. It's a lot more fun once you get better. The better you get, I promise you, the more fun it is.
Yep.
You agree?
Yep. Thanks for watching.
Y'all like the
Please
channel? Subscribe.
Feel free to leave comments, crack jokes. We'll respond back to you.